Analysis of Mike
All right,
Perry
y'all.
versus
I told you
Eddie
I was gonna give you
Alvarez
my
for the
review
King of
on the fight.
Violence
Mike
Championship
Perry
by
versus
Alex
Eddie
the
Alvarez.
Lion.
They fought for the King of Violence Championship in BKFC, which is Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. Um, I mean, I'm gonna just come outright and say it. That the popular artist YG was there, and I believe he was wearing Griffies. I don't know. I just took a liking to that. I love Griffies. But I mean, as you can see for yourself, these guys were going hard. These guys were going hard. They were exchanging. Um in the first round, Eddie Alvarez had first got clipped. Um and then Eddie starts clipping Mike. Mike started looking wary on the street. He started rocking back and forth like he might almost be done for. Um, he looked wary on the street. Like Eddie was giving him a good fight. You know, prior to the fight, Mike Perry was not that he didn't respect Eddie, but he was like, "Yo, how can you compete with me?" You know, he really didn't think Eddie could hang with him, and so. But Eddie in the first round really proved himself. He really did. He did a great job defending himself. Like I said, he got clipped and then he clipped Mike back. And Mike was almost out on his feet. First round was explosions. You know, it was great. It was great. Um, Boom. Second round. They come back. Both beautiful exchanges. They had great exchanges. Back and forth. Back and forth. I mean, it was fireworks. Clean work. Clean. I mean, the shots were getting through. They were both landing. Just complete action. Non-stop action. They were going at it back and forth. And this is only 2 rounds. I thought the first round was fire. Man, when that second round started getting popping, I was like, oh, yo. I mean, it was great. It was great. So the second round ends and we're just heating up, you know. But they're both in their corners and stuff. They're both looking mangled in the face. I mean, they look like they each got stung by 100 bees apiece, you know. But unfortunately, in between the second round and the third round, well, there was no third round because Eddie Alvarez, his corner stopped the fight. They said no more. And as a fight fan, I was disappointed. Excuse me, I drank some Celsius. I'm belching and burping all over the place. But immediately I was kind of let down only because it was such a good fight. I mean, you guys see my pre-fight analysis. I told you it was going to be a banger. I knew it was going to be a banger, and it was delivering. I mean, like, every dollar spent on the pay-per-view was worth it just for that fight. And so, but, the fight got stopped. Me as a fight fan, I was disappointed. I didn't want to see the fight stop. But me as a person, me as an individual, you gotta protect yourself. And if you feel like you cannot go through with the fight anymore, yes, your corner should stop the fight at all times. And so, and that takes nothing away from Eddie. Eddie did great. And hey, he had to he couldn't compete no more. His corner thought that he shouldn't compete anymore. And listen, we're just fans. We're not the one making weight. We're not the one in the ring. We're not the one taking these shots. We're not the one doing none of this. So for me to sit here and be disappointed, I realized real quick, who do I think I am to be any type of disappointed? So, but it was great. Eddie showed himself, and he did a good. He did well against Mike Perry. But ultimately, Mike Perry got the win. As you can see, the belt. He is the King of Violence Championship under the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC. You see him there with David Feldman. I guess the owner of BKFC or the CEO, might be both. I'm not sure. Again, I'm an MMA guy, UFC guy, really. But yeah, he did well. What was intriguing to me is that Mike calls out Conor McGregor. Mike ended up calling out Conor McGregor at the end. Last time Mike Perry fought, they faced off. So I know McGregor isn't gonna go to BKFC anytime soon, but it's something to think about in the future. It might happen. It might could happen. It might could happen. I'm bugged out, but it might could happen. It really can. I mean, if Conor finishes up his UFC contract, there's a lot of fights out there. There's boxing with Jake Paul and stuff, but this isn't a Conor McGregor video. This is straight about Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez. Mike Perry, yo, I mean, let's just say it. He made Luke Rockhold quit, and he made Eddie Alvarez quit. Whether it was to protect themselves, whether it was they didn't want to receive any more damage, whether it was because the eye was swollen, whether it was because their teeth got knocked out, whether it was any of those things, Mike Perry forced a stoppage. Luke didn't want to continue, and Eddie didn't want to continue. I'd hate to have to go up against Mike Perry. In all, I gotta go ahead and give this fight, on a scale from 1 to 10, a 7. And I'm saying a 7 because a 7 is good. It's over 5. And it didn't go the distance. I really wanted to see this go the distance. But again, who am I to feel like, you know what I mean? If Eddie Alvarez couldn't continue and his corner said to stop the fight, I totally agree, and who am I? And that's the only reason I'm saying a 7. If I had to judge the fight on only the 2 rounds and there was no 5 rounds, if need be, this fight will probably get a 9 for me, a 9.5. I mean, this fight was great. You know what I mean? Just great. It was just great, and I hope they run it back. I do hope they run it back. Eddie's calling for a rematch. He asked Mike Perry to run it back, and I hope it happens. But there you have it, guys. I'm going ahead and I'm giving Mike Perry versus Eddie Alvarez a 7.0. Great fight, fireworks, non-stop action. It got dirty, it got messy, and it left me wanting more. And I want more. And you know what it is when I want more. I want the rematch. And hey, bring it to Eddie's hometown. Bring it to Eddie's hometown, Philadelphia. Why not? I might just stop by for the fight. I might just buy the ticket for that fight and go and see it live. But yeah, you know what it is. Alex the Line. I'm here with the reviews. And that's it. Bow. Peace.